Hey, I'm Ray Parker. I played Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace and Solo, A Star Wars Story, and G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and you're listening to Disney Universe Podcast.
We would be honored if you would join us.
To infinity and beyond!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that was all started by a mouse.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 156 of the Disney Universe Podcast. This is your Disney Adult Podcast brought to you by Disney Adults, of course. I am one of your co-hosts, Joey, and joining me is my awesome co-host, Alex. What's up, man? How you doing?
Salutations, man. Just happy to be inside with a cold beverage and air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is warm up here. It's warm down there where our guest is, too. Joining us, taking the place of Ryan, who had a little bit too many celebratory chalky milks for the Stanley Cup tonight, is Steven, part of the Main Street Dudes. Awesome clothing line that we found on Instagram and just had to talk to him. So welcome to the show, Steven.
Hey, guys. Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. And, man, looking forward to talking with you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so glad you were able to join us here. And like I said, big fan of your guys' product and line going on. But before
you said down there, are you located down in Florida, Steven?
Sorry.
No. So I'm in the other sunshine state. That's Arizona.
Okay.
Plenty of sun here. So it's slightly warm here. So we're in the middle of June, or towards the end of June. We call June, July, August the beast, the false prophet, and the Antichrist.
Yeah,
for a reason. And so it's pretty hot down here right now.
Just getting out of round one into round two.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty rough. I mean, I think we were actually over in California last week, came back in, and it was like 115 here. It just made me severely question life decisions. So, yeah.
Well, no, I thought it would be appropriate if you were from Florida, as they are the ones celebrating and hoisting the cup, save for a few rogue Canucks up there in Vancouver drinking their chalky milk. But yes, I thought it very appropriate you taking Ryan's place, if that's the case. I know now knowing it's Arizona, you guys lost your hockey team for whatever reason. I've been following that too. Real weird the way that happened.
Yeah.
And of course,
said last game, there. All right, we're going to Utah. Let's be the Yetis. I wanted them to be the Yetis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What are they going to be, out of curiosity?
Hockey club. Salt Lake Hockey Club. At least for now. I don't know if they decided that was permanent, but
yeah.
Kind of like the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, interesting. Well, again, like I said, Steve, thank you for joining us. We're going to looking forward to your the conversation, hearing about Main Street Dudes. Before we get to that, we're going to do our normal mousekeeping here. So, of course, we couldn't do this show on our podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, on Walt's Apartment Podcast Network, as well as YouTube. We're doing a lot of YouTube stuff, and will be as we get closer to D23 and some trips coming up for the both of us here. So definitely subscribe to YouTube, hit the bell, hit the thumb, share, all that good stuff. And if you don't subscribe to Walt's Apartment Podcast, that's where you get this show, the Tiki Cast, and the main, Mad Tea Party, and all the shows that are going on Walt's Apartment right now. But we also couldn't do this without some very special friends and crew. Alex, who are those special people?
Those are our DU dudes, of course. And I'm using that in the royal good burger sense. Everyone's a dude when it comes to the DU crew. but we couldn't do it without our favorites. That's Superfan Jen, Florida Jen, Sasquatch, Alfredo, John, Big Papa Disney, Sean, Tyler, and Wedge Antilles. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for being part of the DU crew, our favorite dudes in the whole Disney universe. If you want to be part of that crew, make sure you head over to patreon.com/DU crew to find all the details off our 2 fabulous tiers to join the crew. Cheers to you.
Nice. Perfect. Flawless. And like normally you guys know we don't do very much news topics here, because by the time we produce a show, news is already over. But today, as we are recording, it is June 24th, which means it is the 30th anniversary of The Lion King. And Alex had a really cool idea to actually start off the show with the Circle of Life. But I saw this video posted up on the D23 Instagram that I thought I would share. So let me get that up real quick. And there went the page. So here we go. You guys heard okay?
I love the subtitles.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance. We are all connected in the great circle of life.
I love the video game.
Yeah.
Nice little plug there, but happy anniversary, Lion King. So I know I'm probably the oldest one here. I know that deep down. So I remember seeing this in the movie theater. I think after summer school one year in 1994. So
that's okay. The kids aren't here today. I think we all remember seeing this one in the movie theater.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any of your initial reactions, or remember your reactions when you saw this on the screen?
Yeah, I never felt so old as I did when I saw the 30-year anniversary tag to that. It's like, crap. Yeah, I remember seeing that when I was 10 in the theater. But like, I actually remember that day. I mean, I remember where we sat. But the cool thing about that was it really stuck out in my mind, because back when you could do the Hollywood Studios tour, kind of like the backlot stuff, you could actually see some of the animators working on a few of the scenes from Lion King. So I remember watching one of the animators draw part of the Stampede scene.
Oh, wow.
And so I remember I was like, oh, like I want to go see that movie. And then when it came out, of course, it was just, I hadn't seen anything like it. I mean, from the animation to the music, it was incredible. And so still one of my favorites to this day.
Oh yeah, hands down. What about you, Alex?
That is an insane, like, emotional souvenir right there to take back,
100%.
And just a case in point at how cool it was that we did have that at our disposal at Hollywood Studios, MGM for Life Studios in Florida. Shoot. I don't know. I mean, I remember the movie. I remember it being good. I guess I was like 11 going on 12. It's a tough age because you're kind of getting out of the kids' movies at that point. But I can't argue with a good Disney earworm. That movie is riddled with good music. I think Elton John paved the road so Phil Collins could walk, if you know what I mean. But just as we were starting here, and I'm thinking like right here on this day, this is when Simba was born. And so now I'm thinking of Simba as a 30-year-old and like what 30-year-old Simba is up to, chasing a couple of youngsters around the Pride Lands, But thinking of Simba as doing the Disney dad walk through the parks, or maybe he's just the Riz King of the Pride Lands, talking to all the the lady lions, whatever a 30-year-old's doing nowadays. You can tell I'm a elder millennial who just learned the meaning of Riz, and he loves it. He loves the Riz. But yeah, Mad Riz to Simba. I appreciate the remake. I still want to see the Broadway version. I never got to see Festival of the Lion King when we were in Florida, but I did get to see the Celebration of the Lion King, whatever the more truncated version was, we had in Disneyland, and it was amazing. I think it's great. I think it's really cool how it's had so many iterations, and none of them have been really stale. Knock on wood. We'll see what comes out in December, but I think it's great. It's definitely anniversaries like this for movies like this are what kind of keeps the torch going for the classic Disney film. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, if you get a chance, definitely try to see the Broadway because it is amazing and it stands on its own too compared to like the films. I remember, like I said, I remember seeing this. I was one of those guys that didn't grow out of the Disney nerddom, so me and some friends went, and I was still riding high off Aladdin and Genie and everything. That I tried not to like this as much as Aladdin, and it was very difficult because all the character, the opening scene itself, it's like you're drawn in within the first few seconds. Still, probably one of the greatest openings to any movie in movie history. So, the music, the characters, everything was great. It's still one of my go-tos and favorites. So.
Almost reminds me how like Game of Thrones episodes open, you know?
Oh yeah, right.
I guess they only had a few that have that cold open where they start and then they go into the intro or whatever. But the way this one has Circle of Life and then hits with the dun dun dun, it's like, all right, I've got everybody's attention. Let's go on with the show.
And I'm sure we all grew up in the time of the old clamshell VHS days. So once we bought Aladdin, they used to do, or anytime you bought a movie. You'd get a little behind the scenes preview of the next movie that's coming up. You saw sketches and everything. And so when they had this one, it was like, whoa, this is something that's totally going to be different. Then you say Elton John and Tim Rice and Hans Zimmer. So it's like, wow, this movie is going to be good, but I don't want to like it as much as Aladdin. And that's very difficult because this is still one of my favorite all time movies. So that didn't happen very good, but happy 30th anniversary. And you guys let us know. And did you play the video game that they showed in the little trailer? Any of you guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I want to say I had it though for the Sega
Genesis.
It was the one that's like Game Gear. Yeah. Yep.
And
okay.
Yeah, I think those games were
the handheld
Sega,
one,
were they not? The Lion King, Aladdin.
Yeah.
Because I did not play those games. I had a Game Gear, but didn't have Lion King, and I was a Super Nintendo kid. So
yeah, I was a Sega Genesis, so I had that on Sega Genesis, and some great stuff. So
and from what I remember, it was pretty freaking hard too.
Yeah, I remember especially the "Just Can't Wait to Be King" when you're trying to hop up.
Yeah.
They came out with a version of it for Switch that has like all the Disney classics from that time. I want to say there was Aladdin, Lion King, and one more. I forget what the other one was.
I know they had a Jungle Book one.
Maybe.
And then they also had like Mickey's The Castle of Illusion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Plug in the Switch and see if it's there.
I want to say there was a Darkwing Duck one too.
Darkwing Duck was there. Yeah, definitely there. I don't get it. I'm in trouble. Called D Double.
So one more thing I just want to bring up, and me and Alex are a big lifelong Giants fan, so not very Disney themed, but recently, what did I say? Giants fans, yes, big Giants fans, and we sadly lost probably the most iconic baseball player of all time, Willie Mays. And I thought it was really cool. I mean, this guy transcended all over sports and fandom and teams and stuff. But Disney Parks shared even a really cool picture of him at Disneyland with Mickey Mouse, I think in the 70s. So that's Yeah. So I mean, I've never seen this photo before, but I mean,
I neither.
It's so cool. So definitely missed, and especially I mean here in the area. I mean, Alex worked at Candlestick and the AT&T, Oracle, Pac Bell. Everything has been called. So his presence has always been felt, and we've been lucky that we've had it for so long. So
it's not to get too deep, but I don't know. It's, I guess for the Disney fans in the audience, it's the equivalent to losing, any of the Imagineers who had that direct connection to Walt Disney. As we recently lost Rolly Crump and I think
Richard Sherman.
Thank you, Sherman Brothers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those sort of things that are your direct connection to the past, and words like all-time great, greatest ever, your best ever do it. I know just for the Giants, I'm sure it doesn't have much to do with it, but they're trying, have not won since we've lost Willie Mays. So hopefully the Say Hey Kid can help us out now that we're home. The players are all wearing number 24 tonight, so hopefully we can get back in the W column for him. But I am very privileged to say that working at the ballpark for 23 years, I got to share air with him in the elevator, and it's quite a thrill just being in the presence of somebody like that.
Yeah. So definitely going to be missed. But on a happier note, Alex, you had a really cool kind of like a little icebreaker that I think you saw on Instagram or something, right?
Yeah, shout out to Beastly Appetite and Disney Content, and probably Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. He had said it was a trend, but so people are talking about Disney Parks rides, and if you were to pick a Disney Parks ride that you would be spending the night in overnight, but while you're there overnight, all the characters, animatronics, what have you, would come to life, what ride would it be? And I'll kick it to Joe first.
That's a tough one.
I know. I mean, I'm not going to say the obvious. Obviously, there's two obvious ones, I think, out there. But then he mentions in his clip a third one, and that got me started thinking about a lot of other ones.
Well, I want to say the obvious is Pirates.
Yep, that's one of the two obvious ones right there.
But so I'm going to shy away for that for right now. And I think, you know what? I'm going to go weird on this one, but I want to go Alice in Wonderland.
That was the one that he said at the end that made me start thinking about all the other dark rides. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to contemplate between Alice and Roger Rabbit, but
curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah. What about our guest Steven here? What would you choose?
Yeah, so I mean, immediately what came to mind. Well, first of all, let me just say, any ride that you're at and the animatronics come to life, I'm freaked out anyways. So like, it doesn't matter like what ride I'm on. Like it's gonna be a thing of nightmares. But if I were to pick, yeah, I mean, my initial thought would have been Pirates, but maybe for different reasons. So. Like I grew up in Louisiana, born, raised there, 33 years. I'm married to Arizona girl, so that's why I'm out here now. But so born and bred in Louisiana. So the idea of being able to be on the swamp and next door to Blue Bayou with access to gumbo, like I'm all about it. So so I think Pirates probably would have been my first pick. But for those reasons, it would have felt like home.
Yeah, nice. That's a great reason. What about you, Smoothie? Big Smoothie?
I mean, I think so. The other obvious one I would have said was Haunted Mansion. Just all the animatronics and the scenes. I think Pirates and Haunted Mansion easily lend themselves to not having to think too hard about it. And then he brings up Alice in Wonderland. I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. So that got me thinking about dark rides. From there, I would go Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Gotta love Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Or Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. I think that one would be a blast too. Could ask Jessica which outfit she prefers, and she could dress however she wants, you know. But I started branching off into other ones. Disney World, which I don't get too much time to spend at. Spaceship Earth, I think would be cool. Kind of like a night at the museum type of walk through history. And Tron, although I don't think there's many characters in there. If we're just like thinking of it in the base of like being in the world of Tron, I think that would be cool too.
Yeah.
Put me on the grid. But like, I don't want to die.
I think Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway could be another good option too. I think it'd be a fun option.
I feel like that's a ride when you're going through it because of the way they did that 2.5D. It feels like it's almost like you're going through a Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger spin, Astro Blasters, whatever we're calling it, but the 2D has come to life. So with that ride, I almost already get a feeling that something is doing more than it's supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Animatronics
do that too, but it's almost like they went back in time to make something more advanced. So they say we're going to go 2D, but we're going to make it enhanced 2D.
And the conga scene would be the ultimate like alarm clock too. So
yeah, for sure.
Dang, yeah, that's a good question. We haven't done like an icebreaker in a while, so that's a good one because once your brain starts going, you kind of. I was even thinking like Jungle Cruise or Rise of Resistance and stuff, but yeah.
I'll make sure to put this in our stories or the question in our stories once this is posted, so we can get your guys' reactions too from that question.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for bringing that up. I don't. If we have time, we can bring up the other thing you mentioned.
Like I said, I need you to pull up the list
because that could be that could be a bit. It's show in itself. I think that might be a topic for the future. But
I would say, if anything, since there's already 20 movies on there, you would have to pick one movie you would add to the list and where you would slide it in.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that soon. But like I said, we Steven was gracious enough to join us, and before I get to another reintroduction, I just want to show this video. I just like sharing videos here. So this is I think the first one I saw that I'm like, whoa, I like that stuff. Like what this is stuff that we can really enjoy here. So let me find the right post, and here we go. Then after seeing this, because we've all been at Disneyland and Disney World, and they have really cool stuff, but it's like I'm not 12, I'm not, Then so after going through a lot of you guys' stuff, I was like, this stuff's awesome. So, but before I just ruined the stage, but before you tell us about Main Street Dudes, can you tell us a little bit about your Disney story?
Yeah. So I've always loved. I've always loved the Disney movies, and then growing up, we probably went to the parks maybe 3 times growing up. I think once when I was really small, like probably around 5. And then probably closer to like 10 or 9, 10, somewhere around there. And then when I was a teenager. And so every time I went, I just fell more in love with it. And then,
sorry, you said you grew up in Louisiana. So were these all trips to the East Coast?
Yeah. All to Walt Disney World. So, I didn't make my first trip to Disneyland until I got married. We moved out here. She was already actually, here in Arizona, and then we actually spent part of our honeymoon over in Disneyland.
Oh, nice.
And so and that was kind of my first experience over at Disneyland, but I'd always loved the story behind Disney, just his story. I love reading history, and so just even Disney history is something that like I just love to read and study, and just because to me it's fascinating just to hear everything that Walt went through and did to create what he created, which is something pretty amazing that has just impacted literally millions of people. And so, so I've always been fascinated by it. and made several trips to Walt Disney World. And then again, when I moved out here, went to Disneyland, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I think, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to compare the two. And what I tell people is, like, you cannot compare the two. You got to take each park for what it is. And so after I went a couple more times, I actually fell in love with Disneyland and the intimacy of the parks and the history of the parks. And it really quickly became my favorite park. And
Nice.
and so we became season annual pass holders then at the time, Magic Key holders now, and just love it. I mean, it's something that my family enjoys going to, and so both my girls love going to it. I'll tell you the moment where things really got me. It wasn't at Disneyland, but it was at Disney World. I took my daughter for her first time. She was 5, about to turn 6. And we were watching the Festival of Fantasy Parade, and so we were sitting there, and Alice looked out at her and waved at her, called her by name, and my daughter just lit up. And as a dad, I can tell you that moment was so impactful, and just honestly brought a tear to my eye, because it was just a really cool, just magical moment with my daughter there at the park. And I was like, okay, like, there's something special, about this place. And so from that moment, I was like, yeah, we're Disney. We're a Disney family.
And it's generational. So yeah, that's awesome.
And it is generational. And now my youngest, she's now 5, and we just took her to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and did all that at Disneyland literally last week. And she now knows her way around the parks and is dragging us everywhere. And so we just love going as a family. And it's just a place where, as a family, we just create just a lot of great memories together. And so it'll always be that special place. And so my wife loves going, my kids love going, I love going. It's just a great place for us. And for me, honestly, it's just a great place to go and kind of decompress after work. Well, a lot of times luckily from Phoenix, it's anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour flight. So it's not bad. It's literally a longer drive to my kids' school than it is to a flight to Disneyland. So, yeah, we just love it. And so that's kind of my Disney story in a nutshell.
Well, that's awesome. So then,
yeah.
So now, Main Street Dudes. What inspired? What inspired that?
Yeah. So I don't know. It was probably last winter. I think we were actually gearing up for the parks, and I don't know. Like, traditionally for us, every time we go to the parks, we're just like, you know what, we're all going to get a new shirt and just something new to wear every time we go. It was just kind of a tradition for us. And so my wife found her shirt, my daughter found her shirt, and she's like, you know what? I wish there was something else. Like, I wish there was some other alternatives, something subtle, and something masculine, like just something, that a dude just enjoys wearing. And so, and there are other, great designs and stuff out there. Actually, I mean, and what I tell people is like, I mean, there's 100,000 people that visit a Disney park a day. Like, the more options there are, it's pretty great. And so I decided, I'm going to try my hand at designing some things for dudes, and like, I had a guy in mind that I work with. He's an ex-military guy, long beard, just kind of, that military guy that you would, and we would all think of. And I was like, what would it look like for him to wear a shirt to the park? And so I started thinking, just kind of those designs. And so I started a few designs, threw them on Etsy, sold a few, and then I came up with a snake in my boot design, and that just kind of took off on Etsy.
Oh, nice.
And And then we ended up creating a Shopify store, cornerofmaine.com. And I'll explain that here in a second. But once we did that, we had about 4,000 followers on Instagram at the time. And then I created a reel that just honestly went viral. And I think it's like at 3 million views right now, which is just mind blowing to me. And and so after that, like we just gained, quite a few followers, and just the response I kept getting was honestly just a lot of thank yous from guys, but also from like wives and girlfriends saying like, hey, thanks for like this is the first time I've ever been able to get my husband to wear a Disney shirt. And I'm like, score, like that's the point. That's the
exactly.
goal, and so so just trying to find, subtle designs that really aren't trying to infringe on any trademarks or copyrights or anything like that, but just trying to just create them subtle enough to where guys just feel comfortable wearing them in and out of the parks too. I keep hearing from other guys like, hey, I'm actually wearing this not at the parks. And
yeah,
I'm like, that's awesome. That's really cool. And so that's kind of the idea behind it. And we've got some really cool things in the works. We've been, one of the things people keep asking us is like, do you have any like big and tall sizes? Cause like, we can't find any like big and tall sizes for guys, to wear these things. And so so we're actually working with our vendor right now to actually be able to get big and tall sizes, in these designs. And,
XT Mafia, let me hear you.
And so we're working on getting big and tall sizes. We're getting hats, we're getting tanks, we're getting just a lot more options. I've got several more designs in the works that I think you guys are gonna like.
Nice.
And so we're hoping to release some here fairly soon, probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks, just some new designs. And so yeah, that's kind of the story, and that's kind of, what's happened. We just started really, kind of the first of the year. And so,
that was actually going to be my next question. When you started, and I noticed you guys didn't have much, you had a few holiday things from the beginning, but any of those things coming out going to be, I know Disney just dropped their halfway to the holidays info. Oogie Boogie is going to tear the internet up this week with buying tickets. So excited to see what you might have there.
Yeah. So I've got some Halloween designs in the works right now. And so I'm hoping to get those released a little closer, hopefully like in August, as people are gearing up for Oogie Boogie Bash and just Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So I've got
in August in Florida.
Yeah, I saw that. So I'm hoping to get some designs late July, early August at the latest, for some of those things. Some of them are like, one of them will be geared more towards a haunted mansion, and then we have one that's kind of a villain inspired.
Awesome.
That's coming. So yeah, so we're excited, and then hopefully we can have some Christmas stuff as well, for you guys to wear at the park. So.
Well, that's cool. And for our audio listeners, like go to our YouTube or go to Main Street Dudes Instagram. But I'm just kind of going through their catalog here a little bit. And I showed earlier the Rebel Scum that looked like the flag, which I loved. Then I saw this one with the Rebel logo, Rebel Scum, and the American flag. I'm like, okay, that one's coming home. So I love that you guys also have like a lot of like military patriotic logos and art, because I'm getting my dad. Well, never mind. I don't want to say because my dad might be listening, but a certain American made one that I thought was super awesome. So
yeah. I love my country, and so there's you're gonna see some patriotic designs there, which is pretty fitting. We have 4th of July coming up, so I've got quite a few patriotic designs there to go for 4th of July, like the American made one. We have one that's based on the Muppet, the Muppet one where where Sam says a tribute to all nations,
list.
but mostly America. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a list of my top 5 over here.
Yeah.
Sam Eagle is sitting right up there at the top.
Yeah. And so even like the Ride Like a Wind Bullseye has a patriotic vibe with the red, white, and blue feel. And so, so 4th of July, we've got that covered, I think pretty well, but yeah, that one is kind of has a little bit of a patriotic feel to it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we're really excited and honestly just super humbled just at the response, because when I started it, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, because I was like, let's just make some designs and just see if anybody likes these, and the response in the community honestly has just been mind blowing, and we're just super humbled. Just the response and just how much people have enjoyed the designs, and so we're really excited just for the future, and we got some really fun things I think in the works, and that I think you guys are going to enjoy. So yeah,
a lot of these designs caught my eye like instantly. So it's like, well, once I started going through this, I shared it in our group chat. I'm like, we got to get these guys on the show. And of course, we both love Guardians. And this is a new one, right?
That's a new one. That's one of my favorites. Honestly, it's it's super subtle too, but you've got the Walkman there, GOTG on the Walkman, the Cosmic Tour. That's one of my favorites.
Tour, right?
So,
isn't it supposed to look like the Eras Tour?
Not really. I mean, just
I
I
saw a subtle nod to that, but
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it could be.
That's also on my list of my favorites.
Nice. And
this one's cool. Yeah,
and we're gonna come out with some more, little more feminine designs too. My wife's been asking for some designs too, so I'm like, all right, we'll get you some too.
You're like, that's besides the point. No.
Yeah.
What's the
so?
What?
Yes. So I mean, so if you go to our site, it's actually cornerofmaine.com. And so, but our Instagram handle is Main Street Dudes. And one of the reasons we called it Corner of Maine is so that we can kind of have an umbrella of Main Street Dudes, Main Street Kids, Main Street Gals, nice. Eventually. So the Corner of Maine kind of serves as the umbrella for kind of the whole brand. And so Main Street Dudes is kind of a sub brand of Corner of Maine. And so we're hoping to be able to kind of branch out, to kids designs and designs for the ladies as well. So
nice. And I like this Rock and Roller Coaster one.
Yeah, no, that's a good. There's tons of shirts for anybody on the site already, but I definitely see where you're going with the name, and I seen there's a couple kids shirts on there as well. You were just showing the Big Thunder Mountain one. I was going to ask, what's your process like? Like when you come up with a shirt, how often is it starting with something like that you just want to see on a shirt for yourself? Ideas from other people? Do you have like an idea and then you try and match it to the property? Like where do you go with that?
Yeah, so some of the ideas have come from honestly just some of the people in our community of just like, hey, like, can you create a Carousel Progress shirt? I'm like, it's on my list. And so so I literally just have a running list on my phone that I just when an idea just kind of pops in my head, I'll write it down, because sometimes I'm just at the parks too, and then things which like, oh yeah, that'd be a great shirt, and then I just write it down. And but then like some of the requests, like a Carousel Progress shirt, which we're working on, I'm like, okay, let me think through this. What can be cool, what can be subtle, and so I think I've got a good design figured out for that. So some of it does come from request from just from our community that just like, hey, like I would love to see this, something, a nod to this attraction or a nod to this movie or whatever. And so some of it will start there. and then sometimes they just randomly come. I love dad jokes. They come naturally to me. And so sometimes things will just honestly just start off as a joke in my head. And then I'm like, oh, that could actually be kind of a fun shirt. And so
the Disney dad joke line. Boom.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And so so that's kind of how some of the inspiration comes, honestly. Honestly, sometimes it just pops in my head and I'm like, oh, I got to write this down. And we just kind of start the process from there. And either I design it or I have somebody else that helps with some of the designs as well. So, yeah.
That's cool. And like when people kind of do their own, not just shirts, but just kind of like their own designs based on Disney, is there any like, Disney kind of come back like, hey, you can't do that or
no. So, I mean, that's why I'm trying to be, honestly, just trying not to infringe on any trademarks as much as I can, trying to actually do some trademark research and stuff. I've actually pulled designs that I thought were okay. And then actually after I did some deep dives into it, I'm like, oh, actually that's not okay. And I actually pulled shirts. And so, so my goal honestly is just to be, is to not infringe, but to be subtle enough that if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And so, because I mean, I don't really want to steal, and I don't. In my heart, honestly, and like the whole concept, anyways, is to create designs that aren't just super Disney in your face, anyways. And so, so even if I had, the licensing and stuff, I don't even know if I would necessarily use a whole lot of IP, anyways, because that's kind of beside the point of the brand.
Yeah.
And it's just to be subtle nods that are designed well, that like if you know, you know, and then like if a guy feels comfortable wearing it out in public, he's good with that. So so that's kind of the idea. But honestly, like I'm really trying not to skirt those lines.
Yeah, because I know like me and Alex and we have no problem wearing anything Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Muppets, but we also like you said, the subtle. So it's like if somebody's looking at it and like, I didn't see that at Target, just like that.
Exactly.
You kind of get that, like you said, if you know, you know, and we kind of get the exactly.
Yeah. The shared moment with someone in the park. Hey, cool shirt.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? I've got a ton. Like I've got shirts with Mickey Mouse on. Like I do. And so like I still wear some park apparel. Like I still buy some shirts from time to time. So like so I still do all that, but but I think for a lot of times for guys, like especially if they're not super Disney, like because a lot of the guys that have reached out to me, like they're not super into Disney, but like their wife, their kids want to go to Disney and they want him to be involved, to wear the Disney shirt. And he's just like, oh, like, I don't know if I want, the Johnson Family Vacation, Mickey ear shirt.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I want to wear that, all 4 days. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, he's just like, I don't want to wear that. We give him some options, that he feels comfortable wearing, in the park and maybe even out of the park. So,
very cool.
So yeah, that's kind of the idea.
And you do all like, you do all these at like at your home, or you got an area, like I don't say like a store, but kind of like a shop or.
Yeah. So I do everything from the house.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant.
It's me and my wife that runs the company. So we're not anything big. We're just, it's literally a mom and pop shop. And and right now, just with the response and stuff, we're actually starting to work with kind of a bigger vendor that can help us get things out a little bit faster, better quality, and open up some of those options too of hats and big and tall sizes and things like that. They can get us some of those things. So that relationship should start here fairly soon. And so you'll see you'll see a lot of changes once that starts. A lot of really good changes. Yeah.
No, I'm excited because, like I said, I mean, there's so many, because there's so many fans, but like a lot of Etsy shops and people doing their designs and stuff. But like, when I saw your guys' page, it like instantly like grabbed me. So I know
that's awesome.
I'll be personally buying a lot of stuff and sporting it at D23 and all that good stuff. So, awesome. We'll continue to share and build this friendship, because that's what I love, collaborating and just
for sure.
Like, hey, we had Steven on, he does a shirt company, and kind of back and forth. So
yeah, and listen, I'm always open for ideas. So anything crosses your mind, let me know, and we'll get you a shirt.
I always got stuff planned. I know Alex, his wheels are always turning too.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Oh yeah,
crazy wheel.
So yeah, it's been a really fun journey, and I do appreciate you guys just having me on and letting me talk through it. It's been
absolutely
quite a fun journey, and it's honestly doing something that I really enjoy. Like it doesn't feel like work. It feels just like a lot of fun. So I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Just even about this podcast, you guys do something that you love and that you're passionate about, and about a subject matter that you love and are passionate about. So I kind of feel the same way. It's just been awesome. And we've met some really, really cool and fun people along the way too, that kind of share that same passion.
Right on. That's awesome. Were you saying something, Alex? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just echoing the same sentiments that we really enjoy the shirts. I was kind of just saying before about having those moments with people with the kind of more subtle inside joke, or just nod to the deeper cuts through the park. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, being stuff that you can wear in or out, like Joe said, we're wearing all kinds of stuff anywhere. But the fact that you could wear it and someone might not know it's Disney is pretty cool as well. I as well have a list. We talked about a couple of them. I also got a shout out. The Jose Siesta. My Siesta is getting shorter and shorter. Yeah. That was a great shirt.
Yeah. Anybody that's a dad, my Siesta. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but my Siesta is, if you're a dad, that's super relatable. I know my Siestas are getting shorter and shorter. Yeah. That's for sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then the Hooks Codfish, I like that one. And Louis Swamp Tours. Getting ready for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Perfect shirt right there.
I love this Painting the Roses red one too, because as something for Alice in Wonderland, that's a pretty manly shirt.
Yeah.
So.
And you can change the colorways on a lot of these shirts too, right? You have different shirt color options.
Yep.
No two shirts need be the same. Put your own spin on things. I always find that I have so many black shirts in my wardrobe because with the big and tall section, a lot of shirts just end up being black shirts. So getting some different colors in the mix is always good.
Yeah, I do like the snake in my boot because it has a little bit of a Metallica feel, which I'm a fan of. So. Metallic and military,
Yeah, that's definitely been our biggest seller. It's been that shirt, and so that's one of my favorites too.
I love this one. Yeah,
kind of has a comic book type vibe to it.
Yeah,
that one's fun.
I know a couple skippers. I might have to get them on board. Waka Waka.
Totally.
So, yeah, I love that Star Wars one. So cool. I love that one too.
So you said, I was just trying to summarize what we got to look forward to from Main Street Dudes. You guys have some new designs coming up. Very soon on the horizon. New vendors, extended sizes, things like hats. I was going to ask about sweatshirts. I know it's not always 100 degrees here in Sacramento, so love to have a good sweatshirt for the parks as well.
Sweatshirts, hoodies, all of that. Yep. So,
Nice.
I think with our new vendor, we'll be able to just provide all of that, and which would be really great. I mean, especially Disney. I mean, like the weather's so great. at
Yeah.
Disneyland. We were in Disney World at the end of May. My wife and I were out there, and it was
no kids.
It was just me and her. And,
business trip.
No, actually, she wanted to go. She wanted to go to Universal. She had never been to Universal, and so she wanted to go to Universal. And then while we were down there, we actually spent some time at Epcot as well.
Nice.
And the heat, the humidity, it was rough. But the weather at Disneyland is just fantastic. But
Yeah.
I mean, it can get cool in the mornings. It can get really cool in the mornings. So I think having some zipper hoodies available, where you could take off during the day if you need to, but available, in the mornings, in the evenings when it starts getting cool. Those are totally coming as well.
And only because I'm selfish. I run hot, so even sometimes I just at the cold times or breezy times, I just have like a long sleeve T-shirt because even a sweatshirt could be too warm at times. So
yeah, totally, absolutely. So yeah, lots of options coming that we're really excited about. So
I'm really excited when you brought up the Sam Eagle. We're both big Muppet stands here, especially Sam Eagle. So
tank tops.
Yes, 100%.
So my boss, I work at a brewery. He doesn't want to do tank tops. I'm looking at you, Duncan. But there's a specific design. I said go great on a tank top. I think that between Florida and California, I love taking my tank top to the pool.
Yeah.
I'd probably even wear the tank top for Grizzly River Run or Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yep.
Or Kali River Rapids if I happen to be in Florida.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, even Disneyland come July, August, I mean, it's warm enough, for that. And we've had a lot of requests for tanks, especially a lot of the guys that live down in Florida. They've requested that. And so we're gonna get them.
I mean, sun's out, guns out, right?
100%. That's how we roll.
Well, right on. Oh man. Well, Steven, once again, thank you for taking your time to come on. Like I said, we were really excited to talk with you and seeing what you guys got going on. You definitely got some fans here, so we will continue what I like to say, boost the signal. We got a little voice, but we like to shout with that little voice. So,
well, I do appreciate you guys, and thank you again so much for letting me come on and nerd out with you guys too. And I'm more than happy to talk Disney with anybody that will listen. So
awesome. And for our listeners and followers that I've just getting introduced to you, where can they find you on socials and order some awesome shirts and more coming?
Yeah. So you can find us on Instagram at Main Street Dudes. The handle's just Main Street Dudes. And then you can order online at cornerofmaine.com. That's cornerofmaine.com.
Awesome. So, and and the content, I saw the dude with a beard. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of that beard. I've trimmed mine a little bit, but
yep.
Well, right on. And I like to tell people you always have a open door anytime you want to come back. You got some new stuff coming out you want to share, let us know. We'll get you back on. So
for sure. That sounds great. And it's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
Right on, man.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We really enjoyed it, and now I know my bank account's going to go down because I got a lot of stuff I need to pick up for the next trip. But definitely check out Main Street Dudes. Coming up on our next episode, we are coming back with another Lorcana update. We're going to have Rebecca back as she has been a commentator at some of their big Lorcana tournaments, and then also another local player here, Taylor, actually played at the first event, which was in Atlanta. So they're going to be back on, talk about their experience. We're going to talk a little bit about Ursula's Return, the new game, and plus the what was the one that's just announced, the
Shimmering Skies.
Man,
I believe it is.
Yeah, because it was released right.
Characters from Wreck-It Ralph. That one's coming out right when you're at D23.
Yeah, because it's funny because you mentioned it like, hey, the new one came out. That's when they announced a new one, and it happened the next day after we recorded. So
Yeah.
And but yeah, and definitely if you guys order some Main Street Dude shirts and take them to the park, take some pictures, tag them, tag us, tag everybody. So show them off.
Shout out to my friend Tristan and Kelsey. They were in the brewery this week, and she was just talking about how he never has shirts that he wants to wear to the parks. So this is me telling you, Tristan, check out Main Street Dudes at cornerofmain.com. They got a shirt for you. They got a shirt for everybody too.
Nice. And of course,
awesome.
Thank you to our DU crew, who we'd like to shout out one more time. Alex.
The DU dudes.
The DU dudes
in the Disney universe. Yeah. Big ups to Florida Jen, Superfan Jen, Alfredo, Sasquatch, Sean, Wedge Antilles, Tyler, and John. You guys are the greatest. Thank you so much for being part of this journey through the Disney universe with us. And for anybody else who wants to join for awesome perks like being part of our group chat, suggesting subjects for future episodes, postcards from the parks, and other exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DUcrew to find out how to join one of 2 tiers to be part of the best dudes in the Disney universe.
And right on. And since Ryan's not here, we won't do our normal sign off. So happy 30th anniversary Lion King one more time. And Alex, you have a special sign off you'd like to end the show with?
Oh,
I forget what
I said. Yeah. The circle of life. Dun, 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 dun.